Flintknapping looks easy until your rock explodes and all your confidence goes with it. Let me save you some time, some blood, and some stone. Here are 10 of the biggest beginner mistakes in flintknapping. Now when I was going through this, I was racking my head, what are some of these biggest mistakes? And I was trying to think back to years and years ago, some of the issues I came across that eventually I kind of figured out on my own. Don't get me wrong, flintknapping takes time. Don't drop the stone, don't drop the billets when you're running in at difficulty. Take a slow approach, take a methodical approach, and your outcomes will be that much better. So number one is hitting too hard with your billet or your hammerstone. Hitting a super small stone with a large rock or a large billet, you're likely to break it. But again, it's about precision. When you have precise hits with the appropriate tools, you can't go wrong. Now, this is not about strength, this is about precision. This is really identifying the target stone you're working and the appropriate tools to be utilizing. Number two is bad stone choice. If it's not waxy, glassy, smooth, and featureless, and it doesn't break in a conchoidal fracture, toss it to the side, especially when you're starting out. Save it for a later day, 4 or 5 years down the road, when you've gained some knowledge and skills and abilities, and you can apply it to that stone. Starting off on a large circular piece like this might not be the best approach. Doesn't mean you can't tackle it, but find that stone that is best and most optimal for you, especially those ones that afford and ease into that early phase of knapping. Number three, not grinding your platforms. Grinding a piece of stone is essential. You have to remember, if you are not grinding after those hits and you're looking to really thin and reduce something into a bifacial form, you have to grind your edges. When any sort of force is applied to an edge and it's not ground, it's going to break and crush and shatter underneath that pressure. You're going to get a lot of steps and hinges and create nothing but problems. There's intent behind the grind, and then there's intent behind the strike. Number four is no planning. When you knap, there is a plan to it. Now the stone is ultimately going to dictate how your plan ebbs and flows, but you have to think about kind of what your intent is. Things can absolutely change in that process, but if I have a loose plan in my brain, I can adjust as the stone presents different problems or different kind of outcomes. But a loose plan is absolutely key when you're starting knapping. Number five is bad or improper support. Now you'll see many a times me holding a stone in my hand and kind of free floating or free forming it or free handing it, and I'm hitting it with a billet or a hammerstone, and I'm holding that stone in my hand, or I'm using my leg as a support or a brace. This gives me the opportunity to really have the energy from my strike transition to the natural areas, whether it's into my leg or into my hand, based on how I'm supporting it. Number six is the wrong tools for the job. Now, you have to understand through a complete phase of knapping, starting from a large cobble, going to your end state, whether it's a blade, a spearhead, or an arrow point, different tools are required in the process. If you're looking to reduce a nice piece of Keokuk, it's going to require a couple different tools, from small hammerstones to even billets. Now think about it. Would I be using large hammerstones like this on something this size? There's a balance, there's a relationship between the sizes that you're using as well as what your target stone looks like. Number seven is my Clovis first mistake. What I mean by this is people have been practicing for years to make Clovis points, Folsom points, huge Solutrean points, Danish daggers, doesn't matter what it is. But if you're starting out, don't focus on making those. Don't focus on that Clovis first. Focus on learning how to reduce, learning how to throw proper pressure flaking across a piece of stone you're looking to finalize or shape out. Look at proper spalling and proper holds. There's so many better things you can be focusing your time, effort, and energy on than trying to make a Clovis or a large Solutrean. I recommend to many knappers, whether you're 1 year, 5 years, or even 10 years, you should spend a great deal of time making simple bifaces, making arrow points, making small little dart points. Those are the sort of things where you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck. Focus on the small stuff. Focus on the tools. Remember, it's tools, not trophies. Number 8 is not understanding truly how stone breaks. What I mean by this is understanding what a conchoidal fracture is and how that 90-degree cone can be placed at any angle and taken out in relationship to the point of impact. If I hit it straight down, I'm generating a cone that goes like this, 90 degrees. Use some hard hammer to start us off. Good precision hit, nice long flake. When I strike a piece of material, I'm always visualizing how it's going to break. I'm thinking about that 90 degrees. You can see my crack right here. And if I think about the other 90 degrees, it's coming off just like this. And that's almost a perfect 90-degree line right there. So I got my crack right here and the other side coming off. Visualize that 90 degree and where you're striking. You'll run into no issues. Again, so it's key to understand that break and how that stone breaks at those 90 degrees within that conchoidal fracture. Number 9, and this is probably my biggest one out of all of them, reps. Skipping reps. You got to do it maybe an hour or two every day, multiple times a day. You have to flint knap quite a bit to get to that level where you feel comfortable addressing any stone with any given tool set and being able to knock out a point or something that you actually need. If you are not dedicating the time, you're not going to progress to where you want to progress. It's just like anything. The more reps you have, the better you're going to get. Essentially, flint knapping is muscle memory. And the only shortcut to this is reps. More reps, more reps, and more reps. I nap, if not every single day, for multiple hours. I mean, it'd be hard to put it on paper, but I'm continuously flint knapping. It's what I do full time as my profession. You got to get the reps in. And number 10, one of the biggest mistakes is giving up. I get it. Flint knapping is hard. At times, if you're buying stone, it can get absolutely pricey, but do not give up. This is one of those things that I stress to anybody who's learning flint knapping. This is the hardest skill to learn. This is not like making a bow drill. This is not like making an atlatl and throwing an atlatl. Flint knapping takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, and a lot of tears. That's just the nature of the beast. Don't get disheartened if you're not making the most beautiful arrow points. Remember, it's tools, not trophies. Stop looking at stuff online and be like, oh man, that's all I want to do is be able to make this. It will come in time, but you got to put in the reps and do not give up. Bottom line, flint knapping teaches patience, it teaches control, and how to think like the stone. Stick with it, and eventually those projectile points, those drills, those tools, they'll start to come. People can ask you, how long does it take to make an arrowhead? You can say, well, it takes me 20 minutes. But it took me 20 years to be able to make it in 20 minutes. And remember, break stone and not tradition. All right, appreciate you watching.